Okay, so what do you understand by negotiation? What do you mean by negotiation? And yeah, so what is negotiation and why is it necessary or why is it essential in your day-to-day activities? Okay, so yeah. So I'm just doing a quick brush up because this was the slide, and then last session, by the time I wound up. So introduction to negotiation, exchange of offers, collaborative. No two negotiations are alike. Of course, no two negotiations are alike. Last class also we spoke about, different scenarios, different, even though the situation may be same, but when you are negotiating with two different people, of course, the mindset of the, of course, different mindsets, of course, even though you have like the same goal ultimately, but you are dealing with different people, you are going to be having different alternatives. The way you are going to be negotiating is going to be different because no two negotiations can go ahead and be exactly the same. Okay, critical components of business between friends and families. It can happen in business, it can happen between friends and families. Like I told you, when my daughter, my little daughter, when she's adamant about something, I still tell her, okay, fine, you don't want to agree with what I'm saying, and it's not acceptable what I want you to do. So let's go ahead and negotiate. So she'll be like, no, I don't even want to negotiate. So then I'll have to convince her and I'll have to negotiate into letting her accept a negotiation to go ahead and to be taken forward. So yeah, so you're not going to be extremely happy of the outcome, but yes, you kind of feel that, yeah, rather than going ahead in a lot of disagreement and arguments or whatever, you just go ahead into accepting the deal. So that is your negotiation. So between friends, family, negotiations can happen everywhere, can happen anytime, even without you realizing you would have been a negotiator. Every now and then you tend to be a negotiator, right? So whether you're negotiating with your parents, whether you're negotiating with your, otherwise we won't get what we want. Yeah. Of course, so if you don't negotiate, if you don't take an initiative to negotiate, like Rachel has said, we won't get what we want. Of course, if you're not going to take a negotiation forward, what's going to happen? You, without even trying, you're going to be the loser, right? So you wouldn't want that. So yeah. Negotiation is conducted neither to widen or neither to widen nor breach the relationships, but to form a new or different configuration. Of course, so the main motive of negotiation is to actually go ahead and maintain business relationships, even sometimes when you have to weigh out, right? Compromising compromising and then accepting, yes, what they are bringing to the table. And if you kind of value the relationship more than the outcome, you may tend to go ahead and say, yes, I don't mind compromising because my priority is to go ahead and maintain a healthy business relationship. Okay, so coming back again, so is there a difference between negotiation and selling? Right? So if only you are interested in actually going, so basically you're selling. So determining others' needs precedes a negotiation, must conclude before negotiation begins, right? So yes, if at all you walk into a car showroom, right now, I would go ahead and explain to you all the benefits. I am just going to sell it to you. Okay, let's talk about a second hand, because in the first hand, obviously, there is no negotiation, a fixed price. You either buy it, yes. If you're not interested, if you're not willing to pay the price, you walk out, right? So now we will talk about you are entering into a second hand car showroom. And now I'm the salesperson. Now I'll be telling you, yes, it is like, really awesome and really good mileage. It's very neat, well maintained, no scratches. And all of this is, now I am convincing you to actually buy it. So this is my selling, right? So then you'll say, yes, I really like it and stuff like that. Okay, I'll buy it, right? So now you are agreed to buy it means I have already accepted into selling it to you, and you have already accepted to buying it from me. Now the deal is 2.5 lakhs, right? Now is when the negotiation will start. You will be like, no, see, I'm really interested, but I'm not ready to pay 2.5 lakhs. Probably, you know, now the market is such, everything is coming down, and you see we have OLX wherein you don't take interest, no commission, not interest, I'm sorry, commission, no commission, no nothing charged in between. So instead of, you know, me going through you, I have different options and stuff like that. So the market is low for second-hand cars and stuff like that. So I think, you know, 2,20,000 would be all right. I would say no, not 2,20,000, maybe 230, and so and so. So this is the negotiation process. So after I've actually gone ahead and said yes, explained all the features of the car, explained why you should be buying it. So basically I've done my selling process, and which is why you have been interested in buying the car. So after you want to go ahead and buy the car, that's when you are going to negotiate with me on the price, correct? So now agree that negotiation and selling is different. So selling is completed and then your negotiation begins. All right, so exchange of offers. Collaborative, no two negotiations are alike, critical components of business, between family and friends, negotiations can happen anywhere. Okay, so when to negotiate? So now you guys tell me when to negotiate. When do you actually think negotiation should take place? When do you actually think, yeah, we need to negotiate different aspects you can bring out from business or anything just in general? There is no rigid format that yes, only these points we need to negotiate. So some of the points that are not mentioned on the PPT or that have not been brought up as a research as well, you out of your own thinking, you say that yes, I think these are the aspects that I think negotiation is crucial to go ahead and hold negotiations, right? So that could be perfect. So when do you actually go ahead and negotiate? When to negotiate? So when you need and you can't have something easily. Oh, that's really nice the way you've put it across. Awesome. Okay. Then, so out of your own experience, so in this aspect, exactly now all that you want, your parents are not going to agree, right? So which is why you think, yes, I cannot get it easily. Now probably for a trip or probably for a night out. Okay, so even then you say like, yes, I'll have to negotiate with them, right? Because I cannot have it easily. I'll have to convince them. So what are my points that I need to put forward into going ahead and convincing them? So what would be the strong points that they would actually be convinced with? So they are going to put forth, they will say, okay, you can go ahead and you can go ahead for the trip, but for the next 6 months, no more permission of a night out. So now you will be like, okay, fine. Can I accept this? Or, probably I'll accept it for now. And then later on, if something arises, then again, I can negotiate. So you will be knowing what's going on in your mind and the different tactics to negotiate with your parents. But yeah, so when to negotiate when you cannot get something so easily. To convince someone, maybe for sales. Yeah. Okay, so to convince, to get more profit, you negotiate when you can't have something easily. Right, so all these are the instances when you should actually get down to negotiating. Okay, so agreements and solutions. Where did we go? Yeah. So important decisions, expensive items. Okay, so what about expensive items? Here it says expensive items. So this is generally when you feel that, yes, you are being overcharged. So you can say maybe with the fruit seller, with the vegetable vendor, or maybe when you love street shopping and if they are charging you, for your hair accessories a little expensive. Or maybe for the tops that you want to buy are kind of expensive. So then you think, yes, I should negotiate and I should say, nahi bhaiya, I'm going to buy 2 to 3 tops tops from you, and then you need to come down and give me more discounts, because if you give me more discounts, I'll get all my friends here and come. So these are the different tactics of actually going ahead and bargaining. Right. Okay. So so do you love bargaining? So when you go shopping, you are interested, but then sometimes you feel maybe I'm asking for too little because I don't really know what the price is. So the best thing is to just don't go directly to shop. So what you can do is one day just go surveying, like window shopping, kind of ask the prices from different shops and, just understand and study the market. So the next time you're actually going for shopping, you are well planned, you are more confident because you know that, this guy is selling this exact same top for 300 and that guy is selling it for 500 and that guy is selling it for 200. So yes, so I know that, that side is the little expensive side and this is the little, okay, fine, in between, and that side I get like really nice stuff and, which is not heavy on the pocket, which is like, really nice and stuff. So you just do a survey and then next time you are more confident, and then, even if you want to bargain, you will be confident to bargain with that 500 rupees, the one that he's selling you for 500. You can be confident and say, no, you can, I want you to sell it to me for 200 because I saw that guy there, those stores, they are selling it for 200. But yeah, so if you give it to me for 200, I can buy 2 to 3 different tops from you as well. So you'll get understanding, planning, strategizing, knowing the market. So if you are confident, obviously you are going to be better at negotiating. Correct? But how do you go ahead with business deals and stuff? What would be your strategy in understanding? Like here we said it's pretty easy to go ahead, walk down the lane, understand and survey the market. But when you have to negotiate on business deals, what do you think would be a good strategy to follow? So to understand the competitors, to understand the market, to understand the suppliers in the market, because if there is only one supplier, obviously who has a higher bargaining power, you as a customer or they as a supplier? Okay, so what is the bargaining power? Bargaining power, in every transaction, you see that there are 2 or more parties involved, right? And there are different degrees of bargaining power. So bargaining power means to say who has a higher authority, who has a higher say, who has a higher authority or a higher say, basically. Now, when you are, now say for example, you want to buy some raw materials from the market, and there is just only one supplier in the entire market who's supplying, let us say, who is supplying paint guns, okay? There is just one supplier in the market and he's the one who's supplying this paint guns. Now you have a higher bargaining power, or the supplier has a higher bargaining power. So it's monopoly in the market. If he says it is 3,000 rupees and you're like, no, I'm not ready to pay 3,000 rupees. I'm ready to pay 2,000. He'll be like, no, 2,700. Take it or leave it. And you're like, oh my God, I really need it. If I don't pay 2,700, I can't buy it from anywhere else, because he has a higher say, because of course he's enjoying the monopolistic power in the market, the supplier, since he's the only one. Correct? No competitors. So of course you also need to understand the market. What is the market like, your competitors, the suppliers, what are the different quotes by different suppliers and stuff. So that bit of that bit of planning would go into, understanding the market better. So it helps you also to understand how to go ahead with negotiating. Okay, so agreements with multiple variables, minimum dollar or expense limitation, pick battles wisely. Okay, so is a negotiation limited to sales? We have already discussed this. Of course, not limited only to sales. In every aspect, we have, whether it is about convincing, whether it is about getting what we want not easily, when we want something and we can't get it easily, right? So there is negotiations that happen in everyone's life, and it is not restricted only to sales. So here we have salary negotiations, which is one of the very common aspect, right? So we will do an activity. Probably we will pick up one from each of this, and then we can see how to go about it, right? Okay, so salary negotiations, hostage negotiations, family and friends. So if you guys remember, when he had kidnapped one of the, okay, no, I don't think you all would know. Okay, so hostage negotiations, wherein they of course are going to negotiate, or you can talk about war, family and friends negotiations, right? So all these are different scenarios, different instances from each one's life, wherein we can also look at it into the politics, war, and yeah, so there are different different scenarios for negotiation, and of course it is not just limited or restricted to sales. Okay, is negotiation an art? So of course you all said yes, it is an art, it is a science. And why is negotiation an art? It is also like, to be a good negotiator is like, wow, it's like a great talent to be good at negotiating, right? So sometimes when you want to go for shopping, and if you feel that, oh, you're not a good negotiator, I mean, you cannot bargain enough, then you will be really interested in asking a friend to tag along who's very good at bargaining. You're like, oh, wow, I'm going to get a lot of stuff because, yes, this person here is really good in bargaining and getting, a good deal for the stuff. So, yeah. So negotiation would also be a talent. It is an art. Having good skills is essential to go ahead and actually win and save, and get a lot of profits, earn out of it. And yeah, so all this is really required to go ahead and have like extremely a happy life if you are good at negotiating. Okay, so negotiating is people sensitive. If you talk to a man in a language that he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his mind. So we broke this down last time. We went ahead and understood what exactly this means. It means to say, when you're talking to a person, don't just talk to him. Being very formal or being inconsiderate, right? So when you talk to him being considerate, that's when it actually hits his heart. And the main thing about your negotiation is, yes, you need to stick to your plan, you need to stick to the outcome, and ultimately, yes, you also need to be considerate, making sure that you are not adamant by saying that, yes, no matter what, I don't mind losing the relationship, but I want what I want. Then that's going to be a very aggressive approach, and that does not go with negotiation. It is not an acceptable way of negotiating, right? So you need to be considerate to the other party as well. Okay, so basic principle to follow while negotiating. Expect the unexpected. Okay, now when you are going ahead and negotiating, or when you want to go ahead and take on any negotiation, right? So what is the main objective? What is the main thing that you need to have in your mind before actually sitting down to go ahead and negotiate? Is there anything, or you just go with a free, open mind? Okay, let me give you a scenario. Let's just say we are talking about a salary negotiation. Now, in your mind, you're like, yes, I want to go ahead and make a call to the HR. I want to call for a meeting because I want a 20% hike in salary. Okay, so this is the scenario. So now when you're actually going down to a meeting with your HR, is there anything at the back of your mind that you have before starting the negotiation, or you just go open-minded without planning or without actually having anything in mind? You just go open-minded and then you see how the negotiation goes? So the first thing is, yes, the 25% hike in salary. Now, what would be the possible questions that your HR may ask you? So this is a very, crucial point to actually do this bit of planning. Now, the questions may be, on what basis are you asking for a 25% hike? right? So how good how good is your productivity, or how many errors have you made, or if you are a trainer, say for example, how are the reviews, right? So how are you using the time effectively? So all these may be the possible questions, and of course if you have answers to all these questions, your negotiation is really on your side so far, correct? Okay, then what else? So the first thing is, yes, you may put up all the questions. You may actually go ahead and pre-plan. You may actually think of all the different questions that the other party may put to you. Okay, cool then. And now when you are asking for a 25% hike, now you obviously know that if I'm going to ask for a 25% hike, for sure they are not going to agree. They are going to go ahead with a negotiation, right? So I actually am looking for a 15% hike, but let me put it up as 25%. So even though we are going to negotiate, they may come down to 17, between 15 to 17%, which is okay. But if it is lower than 15%, no, I would not be interested. I might as well look out for different alternatives. And I have so many years of experience. Okay, fine. I think I can look out for better opportunities, because if they are not going to value the amount of work I'm putting into, into my work life, if they are not being considered, then even I wouldn't want to go ahead and stick around here. So what is the limit up to which you would go ahead and agree upon, correct? So that is also a very, very essential factor to consider, correct? Then what else do you think could be the other possible things that you need to work out and plan? What would be the other options that you have, or what would be the other points that you think, yes, I can actually go ahead and work as a strategy into getting the most out of your expectations? About the alternatives, right? So say for example, you are having different call letters, or you're having different alternatives wherein the other companies are offering you a 10% hike, but yes, you want to stick to this company, and then you are asking for a 15% hike. So you are already having alternatives, but you will now consider if you want to actually go ahead and spill away this information, or would it not really be good enough or ethical to say that, yes, I have offers from XYZ with actually so and so hike, right? So you are having alternatives. Should you spill the alternatives, or no, should you work on different way, making sure you're getting most out of the alternatives? So stick to the plan, stick to what beyond which you will not go ahead and agree. So that should be, you are agreeing to negotiate, you're willing to negotiate, but only until a certain point. So what is that point up to which you are agreeing to negotiate, and what would be the different possible questions that may arise, and you should be prepared well enough to go ahead and prove your credibility and answer. Correct. So for every negotiation, you have to anticipate what could be the different points of view. Okay, not everyone can we go here? Okay, fine. So basic principle to follow, basic principle while negotiating. Okay, so since we have all done this, Mohini says, yes, it's repetitive. So yes, let us quickly just skim through this. All right. So if you all still remember it, cool enough. I'll not spend much time on this. Be tough to the cause and be kind to the people. Don't act, don't repeat. Okay, so stages of negotiation. Prepare, negotiate, close, perform, and evaluate. So of course, we've spoken, you need to plan, you need to prepare, you need to go ahead, negotiate, close the deal, settle for what you want, and then evaluate accordingly. Yeah, the bigger one is there, little bigger one. Okay, so negotiation canvas, we've also worked on this. If you remember the case study. So two sisters, Amy and Penny, one orange, both wants the orange. The optimal solution is give them half and half, but that's not the way it works. If we have to follow the canvas here, your negotiation canvas, it is Amy's desired outcome, orange. Penny also wants the orange, but what are Amy's interests? What are Penny's interests? So we need to anticipate the interests, making sure that yes, we can go ahead and give them alternatives. So orange cake, craving for sweet. Here Penny says that I want the orange because I'm thirsty and I want orange juice. So Amy's walk away is give up and fight. Penny's walk away, give up and fight and lose the orange, right? So since she wants orange juice, can I offer her just the pulp, the money and the water, or the water? And Penny says that yes, I know she wants an orange cake because she's craving for something sweet, right? So for the orange cake, can I just give her the peel, or can I give her money to buy the cake, or can I just give her chocolate instead? Right, so what would be the best alternative? Water, no. Money, no. Pulp, yes, pulp makes sense because I want the juice and I'm not interested in the peel. Cool. So with this, we have gone super fast and completed it because it was going super repetitive. So now that we have understood the concepts, so now let us work on creating a scenario.